If you have ever found yourself repeating the same mistakes over and over and over again, and feeling terrible about yourself and feeling like there's something wrong with you and feeling like you're broken and like it doesn't matter what you do, you're always going to be stuck, this video is for you. This is such a common story that I hear, and I used to struggle with this story myself. Thank God I know that that's not true anymore. It's not true at all. And in this video, I'm going to tell you a little bit about why that's not true and what to do if you have found yourself in the position where you are making the same mistakes over and over and over again, and you're really sad about it, and you feel like nothing is ever going to help, no matter how much you want to change your life. I promise you that you can. So let's talk about why this is happening. So basically, our brain is this really incredible thing that helps us figure out what to do and what to expect in situations. So what happens is we experience painful situations and our brain is like, ouch, that hurt. Let's not do that again. And our brain starts collecting patterns. And so we have these painful situations and it creates these shortcuts for us. It creates these neural pathways and these mental shortcuts for us so that we know what to expect and how to behave in a given situation. Now, it's really wonderful that our brain does this for us, because if we didn't do that, like let's say we, our ancestors were like out in the jungle and like trying to figure out like what to eat. And they're like, oh, look at this cute cat, but it's a tiger or a jaguar or whatever. They're like, oh, look, a friend. And it's not a friend. If our brain didn't do that, we would keep making that mistake over and over and over, and we would become extinct. And so it's really wonderful that our brain can do this for us. But sometimes the associations it makes based on those painful situations aren't true. So for example, if you find a cute kitty and the kitty is actually dangerous, then your brain is going to store that information and say, okay, tigers aren't for playing with, or tigers aren't friends, right? And it's going to store that information and keep you safe. So the next time you come across a tiger, you're not going to be like, oh, why friend shaped? And you will just not play with the tiger, right? That's so helpful that your brain does that for you. So, we love our brain. We love our brain for doing this, but sometimes it creates a negative association where there isn't meant to be one. So for example, if growing up, you learned that every time you share your feelings, you got shamed for it because your parents didn't have the skills they needed to show up for you and help you process your feelings. Your brain, instead of saying, it's not safe to share my feelings with my parents, might say it's never safe to share feelings. Sharing feelings causes deep shame, and that's the only story there is. And so if that is the association that you make with sharing feelings, then in your adult relationships and, even with your kids or whoever it is, you are going to have a blockage around sharing your feelings. You're not going to be able to do that because it doesn't feel safe. So our brain learns all sorts of messages growing up, and they come through painful experiences, and our brain is trying to keep us safe from those painful experiences. And sometimes the messages get mixed up when our brain is just trying to keep us safe. So part of this work is figuring out what messages do I have about relationships, what messages do I have about myself. So if you had painful experiences growing up about trying things over and over and over and not succeeding, and you had painful experiences around giving it your all, giving it your best, and still not being able to get the outcome you wanted, your brain made sense of that. And one of the ways that your brain makes sense of that is there's something wrong with me. I shouldn't try. It doesn't matter how much I want something. I can't have it. So might as well not try. Might as well give up. That's just one example. So if you find yourself in the position of knowing you want to make changes and just feeling like no matter what, that's not available to you, your brain is trying to keep you safe from hoping that there is a different outcome, and your brain is trying to keep you safe from the painful experience that it feels is inevitable after the hope. But when you know that it's not just about, when you know that that's a false association, and I'm telling you, I promise you, it is a false association, there's hope. You can hope. It is safe to hope. It is safe to hope for a new outcome. I'm realizing I forgot. I forgot how I started that sentence, and I don't know if I finished it. But I promise you that what you think you are capable of, it's not the end all be all. Just because you have, you know, lived your life one way, lived in your relationships one way, made lots of mistakes, even though you wanted to do something different, that doesn't mean that you are destined to live that way. It doesn't mean that there's something wrong with you. There is nothing wrong with you. Your brain is doing exactly what it was meant to do, which is keep you safe. But the thing is, we're in a different environment now. And ideally, you're in a different environment with your kids. You're surrounded by people you love and people who love you. And not to say that your parents didn't love you. I'm sure that they did, and I'm sure that they were doing their best. But they taught us very painful lessons. And so you have an opportunity to learn new skills and to do different things and therefore have different outcomes. And learning is painful sometimes, and learning is hard, and there's no way around that. It really is tough. You just got to go through it. But the wonderful thing is that you don't have to go through it alone. There's such beauty on the other side of giving your brain permission to hope and giving your brain permission to actually try something that will make a difference for you. Because what we have inside all these patterns that I've been talking about, it's called the internal framework, and it is basically your brain's understanding of what the world is like, what you can expect of it, what you're like, what relationships are like, what people are like. We have the internal framework, and then we have skills. And so what happens is our brain processes these set experiences, makes those associations, and then shuts us off from learning the skills. Because if learning isn't safe and failing isn't safe, then we can't grow. And so what we want to do is give ourselves permission to see what our internal framework looks like, find the false associations in there, work on those, and then it frees us up to open the skills that we are fully capable of learning, that you are fully capable of learning. You are fully capable of healthy relationships. You are fully capable of healing your trauma. You are fully capable of reparenting yourself and shifting the generational patterns that have plagued your family forever. I promise you, I have done it. And it makes no sense. If you knew anything about my upbringing, it would make no sense to you that I am here doing what I'm doing. I have beat every statistic there is. Well, not everyone, most of them, and currently beating every statistic there is. So statistics there is about outcomes for growing up in really dysfunctional homes. I promise you, I promise you, I promise you, if you give yourself permission to hope, and if you have the right skills and the right support, you can make the changes that you have always wanted to make. I promise. It will take practice. It will take accountability. It will take a loving support person to help you through it. And it would be my honor. It is my honor to do that for my clients. It is such a joy for me to see people's to see sort of the light come on as they realize, oh my God, I am capable. Oh my gosh, like, look what I'm doing now. Oh my gosh, I never thought I could get over this. Oh my gosh, I never imagined having this kind of relationship. I never thought I could be this kind of parent. Oh my gosh, it's incredible. This is incredible work, and you won't even believe me until you experience it yourself. And that's one of the reasons why I have so many video testimonials on my website, because I can tell you all day. And I hope that you believe me, but if you don't, that's okay. That doesn't hurt my feelings. I I know that you might be skeptical, but there are so many video testimonials on my website at thepresentparents.com. You can find the testimonials tab there, and you can hear from families who are just like you. You can hear from people who are just like you and hear the pain and the sadness and the joy in their voice as they tell you their stories and as they tell you that they, for the first time, love themselves, truly love themselves. For the first time, have the family life of their dreams. For the first time, enjoy, you know, being in relationships, being in a partnership, being a mother, or whatever it is. We have all of these blockages that cause us so much sadness and pain. And that sadness and pain is actually calling you to your destiny. And if you were living in your destiny, if you were living a way that you were meant to live, you wouldn't be sad about the mistakes that you're making. So that pain you have and that shame you have about the way that you're living or the way that you're hurting people or the way that you are passing on that trauma to your kids, that pain tells you what you're actually capable of. It tells you that you're capable of more. I promise you. So anyway, okay. So what I want you to do is go onto my website, thepresentparents.com, and I want you to give yourself permission to look through some of these testimonials. Find a video that you resonate with. And once you do that, I want you to send me a message. And you can send me a message here on Facebook. And then I'll talk to you about which program would be the best fit for you. Because if you're like most people, you'll need accountability to get there.